Welcome back to another episode 103 of the Spittin Hoops podcast. We're back today. It's been a little bit, a little break, 2-3 weeks, but we're back here to review the NBA Finals, the NBA Draft, and some of the big transactions that have already happened in the first few weeks of the NBA offseason. Not involving our teams, which is actually kind of nice. So you probably won't hear much homerism, probably some objective podcasting for once on this podcast. But no, it's gonna be good. We're gonna get it right into it. To be honest, Anthony, how have you been feeling?
Good, man. I think it's good. It's a shame that we couldn't have talked about the finals earlier, but I think there's something to be said for having like a few weeks after the finals to talk about it so it's less reactionary. But
Yeah,
yeah, very excited to talk about like just kind of how the whole thing went down.
yeah. Let's just start. Let's just get right into it. I think we're gonna spend most of this podcast on the finals, probably like half of it, and then the other half on the other stuff. But there's so much to get into here, Anthony. I'll take the lead here and throw it to you. But so yeah, the Knicks win obviously 4-1 against the Spurs. Pretty electric NBA finals, despite the final total of games looking like a pretty big margin. No game was decided by more than 10 points. The last four games of the series were all decided by less than 5 points, including some big comebacks, some historic comebacks. I believe that was game two, right? Where the Knicks basically complete one of the best comebacks in NBA history after being was that game two? Was that game
That was
one?
game four,
Oh, that was game four.
the comeback. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, maybe we waited too long to do this. No, but yeah, game four, down what, 29, something like
Yep.
that in the beginning uh of the second half. And then they basically just doubled the Spurs points from then on in the third and fourth quarters. Overall, like, Jalen Brunson wins Finals MVP, great stuff. I think before we get into like the true analysis of it, I think it's very fun, and I think it was great for the NBA. Like, it was great for you saw celebrations in New York. It seemed like very exciting. Um, honestly, them winning as kind of an underdog was also kind of dope. See that city as an underdog usually. Um, but yeah, they did. It was a great series. It was really fun to watch, even though it was just 5 games. I thought it was great for the league.
So great for the league. We had our boy Mark Steiner come on here and predict that the Knicks would win in six. So yeah, he was wrong, but not for the reasons he thought. Man, yeah, these finals was electric. I think the first finals really set the tone for this how the series was going to go. Like the Spurs, take this lead, and then the Knicks just kind of carry on with what they've been so successful at the entire postseason, and like kind of the collective efforts of maybe Towns taking a certain step back in his offensive role, but stepping up defensively and being at the right places at the right times. OG Anunoby having an electric finals, an Andre Iguodala type of 2015 type finals. And then Brunson, as always, just manning the ship to bring them home consistently. And I think that was the biggest thing for me that I noticed that the Knicks had that the Spurs didn't, which was just consistency. Like the Spurs felt like at some points they were flying through this series, and then other times they could not generate good offensive shots. Their offense fell stagnant at a lot of times. And we might talk about this in a second, but would have loved to see a little bit more Dylan Harper, perhaps during some of that stretch run. But yeah, man, I mean, two games where like there are shots at the buzzer, which is just like so nuts, right? And game two, there's the Wemby bad pass off of Castle's back where Brunson gets that steal, hits a free throw, and then Wemby has a shot to win, which looked like a good shot. But man, this game was this series was insane. To your point, this is the best 5 game series in the finals that I've ever seen, and the most competitive one. This is arguably a more competitive finals than the 7 game series last year, or yeah, in the finals. Just the variance in points. Yeah, man, we're truly blessed. Your point about the New York going crazy was awesome. Just like how much this finals means to a city. And yeah, to me personally, I feel like I tend to have an allegiance to a team by the time the finals arrives. And by the end of this, I wasn't really rooting for one team or the other. I was just like hoping that the series would keep extending. So, man, congrats to the Knicks. It just completely changes everything about my perception of the Knicks and of Jalen Brunson, of Karl Anthony Towns, and uh, just kind of where the landscape of basketball stands going forward. So definitely such a momentum shifter in the NBA.
Yeah, and I think there you have to give so much credit to the players, but you also have to give credit to the front office who took swings and went for it. And you know, what did McCall Bridges say? Fuck them picks. What did
Yeah,
he say
right.
after him? But like honestly, I think it's so great for the league that also a team that went all in. Um, was rewarded for doing so. It wasn't
Right.
a team that was rewarded for tanking for 5 years, building, ripping off people in trades, making the league more conservative in some ways. If anything, this is a team that shows you the merits of using assets, asset building, than spending said assets. And we'll get to this later, but we got a GM up in Minnesota who seemingly feels the same way, and obviously those two teams traded with each other to send Towns to the Knicks, right? But it's just such a fun team. It's a team that wasn't together 4.5 years ago at all, right? And it's really fascinating just seeing how it all went. I really love it. Yeah. Uh, Moving on. I did want to talk about OG Anunoby. Obviously, Brunson was Finals MVP, but
Yeah.
I think OG Anunoby deserves immense amount of credit. Your comp to Iguodala in 2015, I think, is actually a really good comp. I actually think OG Anunoby was better, like a
Yeah.
lot better. And if you look at his advanced stats, let me go find this again. His offensive and defensive rating, he has like a plus 35 net rating in the yeah. So
Holy
yeah,
cow.
he has a plus 35 net rating in the finals. He's 141 offensive rating with a 106 defensive rating.
Wow.
That is by far the best on the whole team. And Brunson actually has a negative defensive rating. That said, or a negative net rating. That said, that's kind of how best players go in those games, specifically if your best player is like playing up against a player who might be better than their best player, like Wemby, for example. Like Wemby, despite his struggles in this series, does have a positive net rating. He was still potentially the best player on the floor, you could argue. But actually, I would argue that it might have been OG Anunoby. So I think it was he deserves tons of credit. Another guy
Mhm.
that they went in, they bought, and he had so many clutch buckets, difficult shots, played incredible defense, and basically like yeah, I mean, he shoots 50% from the floor and from three as the second top scorer on his team in NBA Finals with great
Yeah.
defense. Really incredible stuff. So I do want to give him a major shout out. If he had won Finals MVP, I would not have been pissed about it. But the thing is, you can't not give the guy who scored 33 points a game Finals MVP, right? So like Brunson deserved it. No
Yeah.
worries. Brunson absolutely deserved to be Finals MVP. But had it been OG and Anunoby, for example, I would not have complained really. Though I do think it should have been Brunson. Like I would have voted for Brunson.
Yeah. Dude, OG Anunoby in 2019 played with Kawhi, and he plays exactly like Kawhi. Like they just seem like the same type of player, like the way that they shoot, the way that they defend.
A little
OG's just a
mechanical.
bit taller. Yeah, yeah, very mechanical.
Yeah, and
Um,
OG definitely gets involved a little bit less in the offense for sure.
right,
Yeah,
yes.
he is definitely a peripheral player. Is not a offensive engine, but he can. I mean, he could be your second best offensive player.
He
No,
certainly can.
no offense to Karl Anthony Towns, who played great in the NBA Finals, in my opinion, but he scored like 12 points a game in these finals. So it was pretty clear the hierarchy offensively. So
Right.
pretty impressive stuff there.
Yeah, very, very impressive. I mean, that was a big conversation if he would have been Finals MVP in after Game 4,
Yeah.
and then Game 5, Jalen Brunson scores 45, and that conversation's over. But which is good. I'm glad. I personally like it when the best player like wins the Finals MVP. So,
I agree, and I would have voted for even after Game 4. I would have voted for Brunson personally.
mhm.
Like um, I think last year I was on this podcast saying Tatum should have won Finals MVP. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, that was a much closer, I feel like,
Yeah,
toss up
and that was
question.
also like me kind of stirring the pot. Um, some other points that I thought were interesting, like the Knicks survive like without like Landry Shamet was going crazy. Like
Mhm.
they did not have like this role guy who went nuts like in general. They got games here and there from players, but in general, it's really just that starting group that carried them to the finish line, and there's something to be said for that. Like it's a style of basketball that gets a little bit of hate, but I think Mike Brown really did a great job of making it work. And they found their peripheral guys to take minutes where needed, and their starters really carried them to the finish line. Really good stuff. It was almost like ego basketball. Like our top five guys can go toe to toe with their top five guys,
Right.
and they did.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they snuck in some spot minutes for different dudes too at different times, which is very
And
impressive.
and Shamit did play a lot. So
Yeah,
although he did not play amazingly, he did play a lot.
he did play a lot. And then like Alvarado and Clarkson like had their moments too of
Mhm.
just like showing up, hitting a couple buckets when they needed. I think Alvarado hit a big three at the end of game 4. So
Tiny.
yeah, but to your point, like the the starting lineup for the Knicks is just like so cohesive, and they flipped a switch really like after game 3 against the Hawks in the first round, and just like found this like new gear of we're just going to beat you, and we're just going to be in sync this whole time, however we need to be.
Yeah. And honestly, Mark just batted 100% on our last podcast. Like everything he was like, I hope this, like, if you go back and watch that podcast, like everything he's like, I hope this happens. I think this could happen, did happen. And,
Yep.
boom, 4-1. Um, it's really impressive stuff. Do you want to talk about some all-time implications? Or should we talk about the Spurs really quick? Should we spend a moment on the Spurs?
Let's do all time for the Knicks, and then let's switch the Spurs.
So yeah, I mean, Brunson's got to be one of the top three players in Knicks history. I think, in my opinion,
Yeah, I would probably still say, I mean, I would say post merger he's probably the best, but pre-merger, if people care about that, I think Willis Reed and Walt Frazier still have that because they won 2 rings, and Willis Reed was an MVP and 2-time Finals MVP. But yeah, man, I mean, I think it's more of a if, like, or when, not if anymore for Brunson. Like, I think if he even just makes it back to the finals once more, he probably has it.
yeah, especially when a league that's a lot bigger, like more teams than league. Yeah, I think I agree. I know his dad was doing that weird ass media tour talking about, oh, sorry, Jalen, but Ewing is the best one of all time. I'm
Yeah, that
like,
was weird.
that's weird. I don't agree with him. I think Brunson like pretty clearly is better than Patrick Ewing. Uh, I think I will say though, if you just go down their careers, I don't think Pat Ewing was ever better than like a top 5 to 8 player in the league. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what Jalen Brunson's hovered at. Uh,
Yes.
but then Brunson won shit, so
Right.
that's kind of what I like. Like that's the thing. Brunson has not been like a top 2 guy, top 3 guy, but
Right.
neither really was Ewing. So
Right. And they were both kind of like the third best player at their position at any given time in the league.
mhm.
Like Jalen's like considered third best point guard right now, probably like to SGA and like
Or
Luca,
Luca, yeah.
right? And Pat Ewing was kind of behind like Hakeem and David Robinson or
Yeah.
Shaq.
Or if you,
Um,
yeah, or if you considered him a 4, I guess he was a true. It was a true five. He
yeah,
just
I think it was a true 5.
that was just that era. They would always play with like Anthony Mason, some like just
Yeah, Charles Oakley.
yeah, just absolute brute power
Yeah,
forward. That's just in the
some Twin
modern
Towers.
modern era would just totally be a 5.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I stand on it. All time, does he have to fly up the all time rankings instantly?
Yeah, I mean, for a Finals MVP and the way that he won it, let's see.
Mm.
I mean, what are our What do we have for
I'm looking at one of my tier lists from God knows when.
like? I
But
don't
like,
think he's ahead of Harden
yeah,
yet.
the career is not long enough yet. But is it better than George Gervin?
Oof. Yeah, I think he's greater than George Gervin.
Better than Paul Pierce?
Paul Pierce also has a Finals MVP and
Yeah.
also was never like better than top 8 in the league.
I
Hmm.
think that's actually a really good comp. I think I would put Jalen Brunson like right.
Yeah, because he did it without like you know two other like any like former MVP or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
Though Paul Pierce went toe to toe with like Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, and he
But
made it
but
to a second Finals.
Jalen Brunson did go toe to toe with my beat, and Dylan Harper probably, who's probably going to be on one of this lists at one point. Maybe not top 75 all time.
Well, where do we have Paul Pierce? Do we?
Yeah, I
Let's see.
have Paul. I don't know how old this tier list is, to be honest, that I'm looking at, but I have Paul Pierce around like 47.
Hmm.
Um, when is this from? This is from 2025. This is around a year ago. I made this list. I probably didn't
I,
update it with SGA. I
for
probably did.
SGA.
Yeah. Who
Yeah, that's
would
probably the
okay?
only.
Who would be way up there? So I guess Brunson probably around the 45 to 50.
Yeah, I think that's a good spot for him.
Yeah, and that would put him ahead of Ewing. It would put him ahead of Wes Unseld, which I think is fine too. It would
Yeah,
put him ahead of Gary Payton, which I think is fine too.
yeah,
So I
that's
actually
fine.
think
Yeah.
that's
All right,
I
Mr.
like that.
47.
No,
Welcome to the top 50.
good for him. Good for
Wow.
him. He deserves it. And probably 5 years ago, least expected guy to enter the top 75 who has.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I guess the only
certainly.
ones who entered it were SGA and him, right? And Embiid.
Yes. And ooh,
Did
that's an
did,
interesting one.
did we put Embiid in our 75?
Do we? I don't know if we did.
I don't think I did.
You
Yeah,
might be
actually,
just
I don't think he did.
man. We'll have to revisit that all-time list.
Yeah. No, because I got Jimmy Butler at 88, and I don't know if I could put Embiid over with
Oof.
two finals appearances, best player.
Yeah. Huh.
I love
Also,
Embiid, but
mm, dang, 2024 Celtics stock didn't really do much with that championship win, huh?
what Tatum probably should. It's just such a weird title win. They were all
It,
too good. They're all
yeah,
too like you almost
right.
can't get you can't because if Tatum had been finals MVP, that's one thing.
Nah, I don't think it should change that much. But anyways, we're
I
here
guess
for
it puts
Brunson.
Jalen. I guess if anything, it puts Jalen Brown on a trajectory towards this. If he continues like the season that he had this year, if he does this for a year or two, it's going to kind of be hard to say no.
Yeah, maybe they both. Well, anyways,
Yeah, maybe both of them. Yeah.
all right. So, but I
That's
mean, good. I mean, we have them, and then I think that my only other thing is that Cat is just due to the NBA's like level of Hall of Fame in this. I think now Cat is a Hall of Famer.
Damn. Really?
Like it's it's the Mitch Richmond line, and if Mitch Richmond is a Hall of Famer, then Cat is a Hall of Famer,
Damn, you really think so?
right? Like what? Like five All Stars and a few All NBAs, and now a champion.
Yeah.
And I
But
mean, OG,
Mitch Richmond has five All NBAs consecutively, and Karl Anthony Towns has three All NBAs, third team spread out. That's a little
was he All NBA this year? No,
no.
I still think he gets it.
Yeah, he's also got the rest of his career in front of him. So
Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like if they do this, like they don't have to win a chip, but if they make like an Eastern Conference Finals and like
right,
or like go deep again after that, like he'll probably be in there.
right. And
Damn,
six-time All-Star too.
I did not consider that, and probably could make another one before the
Right.
end of this career.
And
Damn,
like his, I mean, career stats 23 and 11. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, good for
Wow.
him. One of the best shooting big men ever. Yeah, damn. He probably will make the. I'm trying.
I
I
mean,
also am comping him to McGrady really quick because McGrady's like has the high peak stuff. So I just like see that.
mm,
Yeah, I like that actually. If he stays in the league 5 6 more years, maybe picks up one All Star and then an All NBA or two, it's going to be undeniable. Yeah,
for sure.
even if yeah,
Like, yeah. I mean,
even if they don't.
Michael Cooper is an
Oh,
MVP.
is then
Sorry, he's a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer. Sorry. No, he's not an MVP.
um.
Yeah,
Okay.
he shouldn't
Okay.
be.
Damn.
Anyways,
Damn. Yeah. You
at
might.
some point, I'm gonna make a different NBA Hall of Fame list that I think should be good, but he's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I think Cat is.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. I think you will make it too. I think that's a good take. Uh, and actually, I don't hate it.
So
I don't hate
there
it.
you go. Congrats, Cat.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah, we got to talk about the Spurs. So, obviously impressive that they got this far, beating the Thunder. But I think clearly, and even Wemby said they had a little bit of a hangover from knocking the Thunder out. Offensively, a little stagnant at times, and I thought Wemby, though he had a great series on paper, statistically, if you just look at the counting stats, the low percentages tells you a lot. And then also the rebounds per game, especially in comparison to like Carl Anthony Towns, who basically equaled him rebounds per game wise, kind of tells
Mm,
you a lot too. I thought Wemby was really good in the series, but it was clear just not the same level as the Thunder series. Same with guys like De'Aaron Foxes of the world. Uh, it was a disappointing performance. I would be if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be disappointed with their performance in the finals. Would not be disappointed with them getting there. But
mhm.
some of the chokes, some of the decisions, it was difficult. The one thing that you can take away from the series is that Dylan Harper is like one of the best rookies I've like ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, and like that's like one thing that they can hang their hats on. And though maybe in the future you're gonna have to have some conversations about De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper, etc. But you know what? Like I think you should look at it as a luxury, that you got these guys. So
Yeah, I agree. This is I think this is a weird left field take, but I think that the Spurs should have put Chris Paul, should have picked him up and just had him ride the bench like for this. I think this would have been so helpful for him to like calm them down in these moments where everything was falling apart. Not even to go play offense, or like get spot minutes, but
keep the
uh,
head level headedness.
right. Because it's just so clear this was a team that, to your point, like all these guys played pretty well. Vassell played well. Champagny played well. They both shot really well from three. But yeah, Fox struggled at the end of these games. Castle kind of has his offensive struggles, although I think he's unreal. To your point, Dylan Harper is incredible, like literally incredible. How many points did he score in this finals? He had
He's
he
the
had 90
second
points.
highest, second top
Yeah,
scorer on the Spurs.
that's incredible. Um, Yeah, I mean, if this is how good they are when like they're discombobulated and they're not figuring it out, like how good are they going to be next year?
Yeah. And with another year of experience, with Mitch Johnson also fine. Like Mitch Johnson, I did not love some of his coaching decisions, some of the plays he drew up, like that Wemby shot, that mid range Wemby shot. I just, you know, stuff like that being an out of bounds play. I'm like, damn, bro, there's no way you just drew up a mid range. You just drew up a long two to win the game. Like, I'm like, no shot. We had to have something better in the bag than that, man.
Something.
Like you got to get someone going towards the rim. Uh, but yeah, anyways, like I think like with experience they'll be a lot better. Carter Bryant maybe gets involved more, who I kind of
Hmm.
liked in the spot moments in these playoffs. Vassell and Champagne blew my socks off. I mean, they were amazing. Basically eliminated any presence of like a Harrison Barnes type in the
Right.
lineup. Like you just there's no point in playing them.
No.
Um, Yeah, I would love to see them take a swing using some of these contracts and stuff because I think this is kind of their last chance. So like what if you paired up Harrison Barnes and a few of these guys and Keldon Johnson, let's say, and took a swing on just like talented player that you like, try
Yeah.
to get them in the mix. I'd love to see that. But yeah, in general, I don't want them to freak out too much. I wouldn't salary dump De'Aaron Fox. Like this was obviously a really bad playoffs for him, but what, like it's fine. Like, you know what? Like, I don't think it's that big a deal. They should have just not played him. Like, I wouldn't trade him. I would just move forward and operate like, hey, Darren, if you're not good today, we got a guy who might be playing instead. And like, you're our max guy, but that's like, you could better be happy making 40 million not playing, sometimes.
Yeah, right.
We're paying you
Yeah,
40 million, so you're gonna do what we say. Like I
right,
think
right.
that's like and and also like I think they will probably transition to starting the three and I like all three of them. And I think Harper has really solidified himself as the guy. Like I think he will be the guy who gets like Fox, no offense, you can't the situation that's just happening and cannot happen again. Like
Right.
you're gonna need to give the ball up.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I think that like his offensive creation at the end of games and just his like direction of like being a director on the basketball court, that's what you want him there for as the veteran point guard. And I mean, he had that one shot in game three to help them win that game. But besides that, I can't recall too many moments where his leadership helped win, namely in game four when he went for an ill-advised layup that was unnecessary and OG fouled or blocked that. And I
He
mean,
didn't
that's a
deserve
mistake
a
that
foul call. You don't deserve a foul call
no,
going up for
no,
that
you do
shot.
not.
You
No,
do
you
not
do
go.
not.
Yeah.
You do you do what J.R. Smith did in 2018 and dribble the ball out.
Yeah.
But J.R. Smith should have done what De'Aaron
Gary
Fox
Fox
did in
did.
this one. uh,
Literally.
yeah, I think you're right though. I don't think they need to push the panic button at all. Like this team could win a chip. They could have easily been up 3-1 in this series,
Yeah.
and they're just not.
Yeah. And also I think Wemby has space to get better. I watched the
Yeah.
series, like I watched the series and I'm like, man, like go get the ball. Like
Right,
go get the rock. Like
right,
if you're sometimes at the end of these games, I was also like, just why is Darren let Wemby bring it up? I
right,
don't let him cross up a guy.
right,
He's that good. But
right.
he looked tired and
He
beat
did.
up, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
and hopefully he'll learn from that, help his stamina a bit. But he did really look tired and beat up. So hopefully that's something he learns from.
right. Yeah, this is a young team. This is what we've seen with young teams is they lose against veteran teams.
Yeah,
And if Oklahoma City was had one out of two of their secondary creators, I think that they win that series. So this is just how it goes. Man,
I kind of agree.
so good.
But that said, I think next year they'll be right back in a similar spot, whether they make the
Hmm.
finals or not. Like they will be one of the best teams in the
Oh,
league.
of course.
um, okay, is that it? I'm good on the finals. Do you got anything else?
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is like this reminds me of in 2021 when the Suns and the Bucks played. I had a lot of people in my life that were cheering for the Suns because they wanted Chris Paul to get a ring, and it was sort of like Giannis will get his. And it turned out that had Giannis not won that finals, he would not have gotten his. So even though he was older and that team was older, and the Spurs have a much longer runway, then Giannis was only like 26 at the time, and Wemby's 22. So there is that 4 year extra gap, but there's nothing to take for granted here. And there's no, oh man, we were so close, we have forever. Like they got to take care of it now. Like every team is gunning for the chip. So,
Absolutely. I think
yeah,
that's a great, yeah, 100%. And though I do think it was a promising series and a promising season, it's like, yeah, like you didn't achieve the goal. And and I think the like guys like Darren Fox, like that should light a fire under their butts. Darren Fox
yeah,
doesn't have that many years left in the NBA in theory. He's probably staring down he's probably played half of his career, more than half of his career already at
Right.
this point. So he's staring down the barrel of NBA mortality, and hopefully that lights a fire under all those guys' asses.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And they're because
So
they're terrific. They're just a terrific group of players. So hopefully it continues. I'm excited. Um, yeah. Uh, I don't know if we talked about this. Did we talk about the Cornet block on was it Hartenstein in the Western Conference
yes,
Finals? Did we talk about that in the last one?
I believe we did. Yeah. Well, what about it?
I was just watching the TikTok of it this morning. I was like, that was so lit.
Oh, yeah, that was lit. That was
And then
lit.
he didn't play at all in the finals.
Yeah, right. He just got completely. Yeah, yeah. He was unplayable. It was kind of wild.
All right. Do you want to let's move to the next? Do you want to talk about draft first or transactions first?
Why don't we talk about the draft?
Okay, let's get right into the draft. To be honest, very exciting night for me. Obviously there was some discussion. Should Darren Peterson go first? Should Bonsa go first? Darren Peterson did not allegedly work out with some of the other teams. I don't remember if he actually ended up working out for the Jazz or not. I don't believe he did. But might be wrong on that. Anyways, Darren Peterson goes 2, AJ Bonsa goes 1. Cameron Boozer goes 3, Caleb Wilson goes 4. Frankly, that was kind of the standard mock drafting that was going on, especially with Keaton Wagler going 5. I think that was kind of standard, what was expected. Then you kind of get the group of guards from there: Brown, Acuff, Flemings. I do like Flemings and Acuff a lot. Actually, I think they're very fun. But all these guys have really high ceilings. All of them could be very good. And then from there, you got kind of the swings, the bigs: Morris Johnson, Burries, Lindenberg, Mara, Ahmed, Steinbach, Swain. Like all these are like swings that are all swings or bigs. I don't think any of them have mega high ceilings. Nate Ament arguably might have the highest ceiling in this group, but it was kind of a bog standard draft. I think there were some interesting moves. We can get into this, but teams like min-maxing their trades, like trying to get every second round pick they can get out of it. Memphis, they trade down twice in the first round from 16 to 17, 17 to 21 to get 3 second round picks that they trade for Isaiah Stewart, stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. And especially in the second round, every second round pick basically gets traded or had been traded at some point in time. Pretty interesting stuff. So yeah, I thought it was pretty box standard draft. I thought it was fun. It was fun to see Memphis get another big to surround, their core of Edie, replacing Jaren Jackson. Now they have Isaiah Stewart. It's fun stuff there. Obviously, kind of replacing Brandon Clark, who passed away, which is very sad. But yeah, I thought it was pretty box standard draft. I did nothing crazy happened, and I thought it was pretty cool.
How many future All-Stars do you see in this draft?
I think you can probably say 4 or 5. I think you can probably say 4 or 5 because I think you die Bonsa, Peterson, Boozer. You probably get 2 All-Star, like at least 2 of those players probably get an All-Star appearance at some point or have a ceiling to do so. Caleb Wilson, I think, also kind of has that ceiling. And then it kind of depends on how you feel with the group from like 1 to 8. Do any of those guards get an All-Star appearance? I think at least one of them gets an All-Star appearance. And I think from there, you probably get another guy. So, yeah, maybe 4 or 5. I think that's probably, and I think that would be a very good draft. And I think this is a very good draft, which is also why you didn't see too much movement. I think these draft picks in this draft were hot down. The only draft pick in the first round that really got in the lottery that got traded was the trade involved in the Giannis trade. So
Right.
with a pick involved in the Giannis trade, sorry.
Right. Right. Yeah. That was the only one.
Yeah.
All the other ones had been previously agreed on, like draft, like pick swaps, or
It kind of tells you, I think, tells you a little bit about how much teams value they're having a pick in the lottery for this draft. The level of talent, I think, is higher.
yes, certainly.
We'll talk about next year's draft when it gets to it, but I think like this year's draft was like a level better than next year's draft. For example.
Damn. Yeah, man. Excited to see how these guys all translate to the league.
Yeah, and there are certain things that I actually did want to talk about just really quick. Caleb Wilson to the Bulls, I think will be an identity builder. Will instantly be their like value rookie young guy that they try to build around a little bit, especially compared to a Giddey or Buzelis type who probably don't have massive ceilings. If we're being honest, same with Acuff. I think for example, he's probably going to be the young guy the Kings build around. At least for a year or two, see where he goes compared to like a Keegan Murray, for example, or a Maxime Marino or something like that. Like those are the guys who are like Acuff and Wilson are the guys who are going to get built around rather than guys who were already picked before. So I think that's
Mm.
pretty interesting and fun to watch. Wagler, for example, is going to be the guy that the Clippers kind of build around for a year or two because they're not going to have any other picks. So I think there's some pretty fun stuff there, and I like it. I like it. I think a lot of these guys are going to get good opportunities, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah, man. No, this is dope. Any like non-lottery guys that you think that we should keep an eye on?
I really like the guy that Sixers picked. His name is LeBaron Philon. I don't know how to say his last name, but he played for the Crimson Tide, Alabama, and he's fun. He's just one of the factories of like short guards going to Philadelphia, and like hopefully they're
Mm.
good. We'll see. I don't know what his ceiling is, but for like a 22nd pick in the first round, I think it'll be pretty fun. And then to be honest, uh, I I think outside of that, that's kind of the guy that really stood out to me in terms of like I kind of like the value here. But I think some of these second round guys have like relatively solid ceilings. Like if like a Koa Pete who went to I think Phoenix, for example, or Baba Miller, I think went to the Clippers. I think one of those guys, if someone hits in the second round, they could be pretty good. Henry Visar, who went to Atlanta, if one of those guys hits, they could be pretty good. So I actually think there's like a depth of talent that was like pretty impressive here.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. So, anyways, pretty cool stuff. I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. I did just want to say I'm so excited for Dagba.
Yeah, man.
I think for a first overall pick, not many first overall picks who are like this good have walked into a situation or like a team that was like it's funny to say this, but like a team that was like this good this like early. A
Hmm.
lot of times when you're a first overall pick, you walk into like a shitty situation. This is a team of Anthony Davis, Trae Young, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn. Like these
Right.
are basketball players. AJ Dalwanza will not be the best player on the team, Dave. And a lot of times that's not the case for the
Right.
first overall pick. So pretty interesting stuff. It's kind of fun.
And the second overall pick too. Like with the
Yeah,
Jazz.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they're not trying to tank anymore.
Like if Peterson didn't start the first game of the season, I wouldn't be shocked. You know,
Right.
if they just started Ace Bailey for two with Markkinen and Jaron Kessler
Right.
and
And
Keontae at point guard,
Keontae, yeah.
I would not be stunned.
Right. But yeah, man.
So fun
Diavonta,
stuff. I'm very excited to go see
congrats.
him. I'm gonna try to get some seat tickets.
Yo, okay. Yeah,
Um
man.
yeah.
Wizards are on the come up.
Yeah, there they are on the come up. That'll be exciting. And I'm excited to see what moves they do. There's some rumors that they're like the Portland called them about trading for Anthony Davis, and I was like, that might be a good idea.
Like who would they trade?
Like you do the Jeremy Grant contract plus like Scoot Henderson and then maybe a pick. You give him back like a shitty pick swap.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
like you get to take a swing on Scoot Henderson and you get off the year two of Anthony Davis and you don't have to extend him. He's not upset. And we give you back one of the picks that you spent getting Anthony Davis. I don't think the Wizards would do it though. I think the Wizards would rather just like roll the dice on Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, let's get into the offseason. If you want, I'll run through these transactions and you can give me your reactions.
Sure.
Bars, by the way. Okay, the big trade. Let's just like get right to it. The big trade is Giannis to Miami for Tyler Hero, Claw Ware, Jaime Jaquez, and their last year first round pick, Jacques Jonas, along with the 13th overall pick that was Nate Ament. They also sent unprotected first rounders in 2031 and 2033, along with a pick swap in 2030 and some other second round. Um, Overall, it's a haul for Giannis. It's definitely a big package. Is it the type of package you might have? Is it the six first? Is it something? Is it a insane package for a star in his prime? Maybe not. If you compare this to the package the Nets got for KD, you could ask yourself some questions, for example, like which one was better. But overall, given that they dragged it out this long, it's still a really
Hmm.
big package, and it's going to start a really long rebuild for Milwaukee, and it's going to jumpstart that, So I think it's good.
Yeah, it's about time. Congrats and just salute to an incredible career in Milwaukee for Giannis. Off to the
Unbelievable.
next. I mean, this is obviously a big move. I know it was between Miami and Boston, and the Miami package appeared more attractive to Milwaukee. I don't really know how much this moves the needle for the Heat at this point in time in the East, just based on like a lack of cap flexibility. Who knows if they can get Norm Powell to re-sign um, on a smaller contract? Can they like make Andrew Wiggins? Can they spread out his contract for less money? But the lack of shooting is going to be a bit of an issue. But obviously, Giannis is such a tone like culture setter, and him and Bam. That's kind of like the Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing thing we were talking about earlier. Like that, there's no there's no answer for that really. In the paint, like they're going to be great in
Can
that
I say,
respect.
I think the team's going to be really good. I think they also have some flexibility with guys like Jovic has got like a $16 million contract that maybe
Mm.
you could dump elsewhere for maybe like a Malik Monk. Maybe that's like someone you do one for one swap for. You throw in a second round pick or two. I don't know if
It,
they've written about that.
they should have gone for like the Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins like
Yeah,
type
I
of
just don't know if they had
type
the
of thing.
because the thing
The
is that
assets.
the Thunder didn't want to take anything back in those trades, and I think the Heat have to send out cap
Mm.
space. So,
Mm-mm-mm.
but yeah, if they
Right.
could have gotten in on that, that would have been nice, obviously. But I think they'll re-sign Norman Powell. I think he'll probably get a huge contract that we hate, but he just has so much. Like he has so much leverage right now. So he probably will get like 3 years. He'll probably get that Kobe White similar contract, if not better. Maybe like 3 years, 90 million. I think he'll get something kind of crazy um, from the Heat. But anyways,
Yeah.
I think that I really like this team. I think they'll be really good defensively. I think it's gonna be incredibly difficult to score on them. Davion Mitchell, Norm Powell is obviously not great defensively, but Wiggins, even Portis is pretty good defensively at times. Adebayo, Antetokounmpo, etc. I could also see Portis getting moved. I don't know if they already processed the trade, but I would love, I think you could flip him. So, anyways, I
Mm.
really like the team, and I think the Heat will be able to find guys. I'm not worried about the Heat being able to fill their 9th, 10th.
Yeah. They have that neck.
I think they're going to be so good on defense. Like, I think they're
Yeah.
going to, I think they might instantly become one of the best defensive teams in the league. Yeah. Because they have
Yeah.
the point of the attack defenders. It's not just Giannis. They have
Right.
Tatum, they have Wiggins.
Right.
These are good defenders as well. So, anyways, I really like it.
Yeah. Very, very Spursian in that sense, where you have like kind of guards and wings that can hound and then like funnel into the paint and then just like you got the
You
old
just got
Bam
to
and
meet.
Giannis.
Yeah, you got to meet Bam and Giannis. Like, good luck. Um,
Insane. You got to meet the
I
second best scorer in NBA history,
yeah.
like at the rim, and then Giannis too.
I know you said it doesn't change the needle for you, but I think the ceiling is high. I think the ceiling is high for this team. If they stay healthy and they play 70 games with Bam and Giannis in the court, like they are probably going to be a top 2 to 3 seed. Like I don't see them. Yeah, like I like the worries about the Bucks where like you have Giannis playing with absolute people who don't know how to play basketball. I'm exaggerating, but some of the back end of the Bucks benches were pretty
Right.
rough, and so like when Dame got hurt, it's over. But if Bam misses 2 3 weeks, they can survive. I kind
Right.
of like it.
Yeah. 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 I mean, they're certainly better than they were
Yeah,
before him being there. So
I,
yeah.
I, I, yeah, I think they have a high ceiling. Like, I don't think they'll fulfill that high ceiling for sure. Like, I think it really depends on what these next few moves are. Again, I want to see that maybe a Jovic move or something like that, but I think they're really high ceiling. I like it. I like
Do you
it.
think it's like a finals appearance, high ceiling?
Yeah, I think they could make the finals. I just think
Okay.
the level of defense, like, is going to be brutal. Like, if they're fully healthy, maybe they get a lucky roll in the first few
Mm.
rounds. Like, I don't know, man. Giannis is still amazing.
Yeah, he is
Giannis is
still
still
amazing.
unbelievable. And Bam, like Bam will not have the pressure of being technically on paper the best player on the team.
Yeah,
He'll be a
right.
lot more of the secondary guy, kind of like he was to Jimmy Butler. I think that'll help him out a bit too.
Yeah.
And he's better than like Miles Turner.
So much. I mean, so much better. Yeah. close the book on that.
So I
Uh,
like it. It's spicy.
yeah,
It's spicy.
it is. It's certainly spicy. I'll be honest. I was pissed he didn't get traded to Boston. I
Dude,
was
did you
pissed.
see the offer? The what was it? Two first round picks and Jalen Brown.
Yeah, that was the offer.
I'm surprised that Milwaukee. I feel like Milwaukee probably liked the offer, but was like, we need to be able to reroute Jalen Brown somewhere. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think
right,
Milwaukee wanted to sit on Jalen Brown, and I think maybe they just didn't get an offer that was worth the rest of what
right.
Miami was offering.
Yeah, they probably would have needed a third team to facilitate this whole thing. And once it seemed like it was just two teams, like straight up, like it felt like it was less likely that it would be. Because what do you do with Jalen Brown if you can't reroute him
Yeah,
if in Milwaukee? Like he's really good, but he's
it's gonna be
not
mad. It's gonna be
right.
mad.
You're
You're
gonna be
just gonna
stuck at 42.
well, and also you're just gonna get ripped off whenever you do trade.
Right,
Like, to be honest, like, because teams are gonna know he doesn't want to be there. You're looking to trade up.
right. So
Um, okay. Anyways, that was really fun, but that was not the craziest trade. That happened pre-draft, right? That happened the day before the draft, 2 days. Yeah, day
that
before the draft,
happened.
morning of the
Yeah,
draft.
I think the morning of, yeah.
Yeah. But after the draft, or also I believe before the draft, I can't remember. We got
Yeah,
the
Randall.
right.
This is the first one.
Yeah, that we got. Yeah, before the. This is the first one before the draft, right? This is like
I think this is the first one, like the first big one.
okay. So Claxton goes to Chicago, Randall goes to Brooklyn, and there's kind of like second round picks involved. Basically, Minnesota creates cap space by dumping Randall. Nets take on Randall by rerouting Randall to Claxton to Chicago. There's kind of second round picks involved, etc. But this trade is later expanded the Lamelo trade. But this trade also allows Minnesota to extend Ayo Dosunmu for 5 years, 112 million. It's obviously a huge contract, but he
Yeah,
had the leverage, to be honest, to negotiate it. And because or else he would have just walked and Minnesota's just screwed, right?
right.
Because they wouldn't have been able to. But yeah, in general, it's kind of the end of the Towns trade. Towns
Mm,
now that his counterpart is gone from Minnesota. And I think it's fun for the Nets to have a guy who probably raises their floor a bit. And I think it's also nice that Claxton probably gets a change of scenery. I wish I could
mm,
see Claxton on a better team, but I think that's good for him.
yeah, I'm with that. This was an interesting trade. Obviously happening before the Lamelo one in a vacuum. It just was like, huh, Julius Randle is in Brooklyn, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. Um,
Bit surprised they weren't able to get assets for Claxton, like real assets. I guess if you view Randall as a real asset, then that's that. But yeah,
right,
and I think he probably
right.
was a real asset.
And the last time he got traded to New York, he helped bring them to the playoffs. So for the first time in forever. So maybe he could do it again.
And to be fair, he wasn't particularly bad in Minnesota.
No,
He was not. So he'll raise their ceiling, or their floor, and probably try to launch them above the worst teams in the league and closer towards that good lottery
right.
range,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. This is the new play.
Like low key. Right?
Yeah,
And then if someone gives you a good offer from, peace out.
ticket. Yeah,
Um, so yeah, anyways, but I think the bigger part of this is this expands the cap space availability for uh, uh, Minnesota to be able to also subsequently make a trade for LaMelo Ball by only sending the contract of Naz Reid, who obviously has a smaller contract than LaMelo Ball, but they take on Josh Green with some of the money left over from the Randall trade, etc. LaMelo goes to Minnesota for Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first round pick, and then a 2028 pick swap. There are also pick swaps in 2029 and 2030, but frankly, those are unlikely to convey or be very good picks.
mm,
Like the 29 pick swap literally only conveys if Minnesota falls in the top five, and then otherwise the pick swap goes to Utah.
mm.
Anyways, so there's some interesting stuff there. I kind of like this trade all around. I think it's really spicy. I like the fit of Naz Reid and Charlotte, and I think Charlotte is selling at a point probably there. This is probably the best value you're going to get for Lamelo, especially over the last 2 years. And I think this is a good trade.
Mm,
I think it's a good trade for both parties involved. Like I understand that some people thought Lamelo would go for more, but I think this opens up flexibility. Lamelo is coming off his best season, doesn't play a lot necessarily,
right.
and now his expectation gets lowered a little bit, and I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how he could have continued with that Charlotte experiment because they played so well at the end of the year. But I think that this and for the Timberwolves, I think this answers like their one of their biggest concerns, which was that before they traded for AO, they had no secondary creation at all, and so now in this Western Conference, where you have to be able to go up against great perimeter defenders in the Spurs, in the Thunder, you got Lamelo, you got AO, and you got Anthony Edwards. So this is a great way to like counter that. Um, and yeah, I think for Nasri, that's a space where he can like be the center, like be the big man, and the Hornets are going to kind of just keep ticking their way up. So uh, an interesting trade all around, and we'll see. I think obviously the bet for for Charlotte is that they can kind of continue this magic that they caught last year without Lamelo. Anyways, and to your point, like this was the best stretch and the healthiest stretch he'd had in a while. So they're probably betting on him not being able to sustain that as he has historically struggled to do health wise.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense, and I think the swing is worthwhile. I think they needed to switch up from Minnesota. I think the swing is worthwhile, and Jaden McDaniels probably moves up, and moves to three, and it'll be all right. Like I think it'll
Right.
be a good team. I like the swing, and this is a guy who just averaged 25, 8, 8. This is
Right.
the best player to play alongside in Edwards throughout his whole career. So let's see how it goes. I'm really excited. I think it's really fun. It's just a really fun trade. And Charlotte gets some more flexibility, gets to build around Brandon Miller and Concord. It'll be good.
And yeah, Charlotte also, like most importantly, they get to a deep sigh of relief knowing that they can walk the streets without a car barreling down at them super
Yeah,
fast.
I saw a report that Lamelo drove up to Minnesota in like 45 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, record time actually.
That's nice. I'm really excited to see how that goes. I think that was my favorite trade of the offseason. It shows you how random the NBA can be.
So random. Yeah.
Um, with that, let's go through some other stuff that happened really quick. Trae Young
Yeah.
gets a max extension in Washington. Allegedly, they were bidding against someone, a mystery team. Not really sure who that was. Maybe it was the Nets or someone. But honestly, Trae Young had a lot of leverage to negotiate this after Washington gave up assets to trade for him. And I think if you're Washington, it's not that big of a deal. 4 years, like this is basically like the De'Aaron Fox contract in comparison. Like Trey is going to play for 4 years next to Divonsa, kind of the way De'Aaron Fox is going to play for 4 years next to Harper. And then the ball, like the true creation and ball handling duties will get passed over,
Right.
and I don't anticipate Trae Young will play more than 4 years on the Wizards, barring him taking a massive pay cut when he moves or something like that. But, um, yeah, I think it's fine. Like, I don't think the back end of the contract is going to be pretty necessarily, but by then they should, if they don't have a replacement for Trae Young 3 years from now, that's something. So,
Yeah. And I mean he's a great player. So you're in a great spot with him. He's been to the conference finals before. He's a very, very good point guard.
and he wants to be there, which I think is something to be
Yeah.
said for the Wizards. Like with this cap space, you probably weren't getting a player of his caliber otherwise. Maybe you're getting two guys that could amount to him, or even better. But I think they wanted to consolidate assets. We have a lot of picks, a lot of young players. It's probably not worth spread around that cap space around 2 or 3 slots. And I think that's why they last year tried to maximize their cap space by going after AD, going after Trae Young, kind of these minor-ish moves. Um, and it was also like consolidate assets. So I think it's fine extension. It's expensive, but it is what it is, and it's around the same mark as Austin Reeves. Uh,
Mm.
but was Austin Reeves gonna come to Washington? No, like he if LA's offering him the same deal, he's gonna sign in LA. So
Right. Yeah. And they're like about the same. Yeah. They're the same age. They're the same good level of player. So yeah, I mean, I was seeing like, oh man, Austin Reeves such a good max extension. Trae Young's extension is so crappy on Twitter and stuff. And
that's what I saw too. I was like, I
it's
don't think
like,
the margin is like,
yeah,
and I do think I'd probably rather have Austin Reeves on the max than Trae Young on the max. I think it's that big a deal. And also, if I'm the Wizards, actually, for the Wizards roster build up, I actually would probably rather have Trae Young. They do
yeah,
need a point guard. I don't think they
yeah.
should roll in next year with both Carrington. But
No,
so,
not
or
starting.
with him starting. Um, okay. Austin Reeves is max extension. I kind of thought that was going to happen. People were like that
Yeah.
was worth a lot, but I think that's the position he played himself into. And if he walks, they can't replace him. So he gets his max.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well deserved, expected, and we'll see what else the Lakers have in store in this offseason.
I imagine a LeBron 1 year big money contract extension. I don't really think LeBron.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
I think he'll just go one year and 1 year. He'll wait till deep in the offseason. They have bird rights on him, if I remember correctly. They'll just wait till deep in the offseason and sign him to like a $35 million contract, a $40 million contract. That'll be that. That's kind of what I see happening. And then he'll just go year by year. That's kind of what I see happening.
I think this will be his last year.
I think so too. I think it should be.
Yes. Maybe it won't be, but it should be.
Yeah, because we saw some of the drop. We saw that he's still extremely good, but we saw some of the drop off. And like, I don't know if I need LeBron James playing in the NBA and like not making an All-Star game.
Right.
Which is like plausible. And I just don't want to see a season.
Yeah, I'm good on that too.
If the season is like that, then it better be your fairness. So,
right. Exactly.
Because then you're just going to look at this. So, okay. Hartenstein, 3 years, $75 million extension. Year 3 is a mutual option. I've actually never seen this in the NBA. So, like, they both have to agree to it.
Interesting.
So, I feel like it's kind of like a 2 year extension or like a fake third year. Where it could be like if Hartenstein got hurt and he needed like a prove it season, like maybe that would be the time you would pick it up. But I don't know. It's a little weird. I just don't know why you'd add that third year. It's like performative. Like I don't know. I don't really see
performative thunder.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like shout out though. And also by then he will have full bird rights, so like theoretically he'll be able to negotiate for a lot more. So we'll see how that goes. But they were able to do that because they salary dumped Joe and Andrew Wiggins just as the Hawk for some picks. They use those picks, or they use second round picks subsequently to trade up for Bennett Steers in the draft, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I think this is what you're going to see some of with these teams that have a little bit too much talent. You already saw the Thunder kind of do this with Usman Gaye when they dumped him to the Bucks and he played pretty well. But like they're going to have to dump these guys, and they're going to be deals to be found. That's why cap space is good.
Right. Yeah. No, very true. The wealth of riches that they have puts them in this situation. But I mean, Hardenstein played great in the conference finals, so they obviously need to keep him.
Yeah, and Joe and Andrew Wiggins, or Andrew, I keep calling him Andrew Wiggins.
I know.
Aaron Wiggins,
it's so
Jesus
weird.
Christ. They're not related either.
No,
Joe and Aaron Wiggins, like both, like respectfully, had kind of fallen out of the rotation, and the emergence of Jared McCain was probably
right, and AJ Mitchell too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you were going to trade, like, I don't know. Even if you traded Lou Dort, I still don't know if there's a ton of minutes for Isaiah Joe, for example. Maybe there's some more minutes for Aaron Wiggins. But
yeah.
Anyways, so that was interesting. And finally, I think we kind of touched on this with the Kobe White extension that follows up the Lamelo trade. I like Kobe White. I like this number. I think it's as the cap actually goes up, it'll look pretty good. Year 30. The issue is you're just gonna have to extend him again after that. So we'll see how that goes. But I think he's a good player. I think this is around the number. And and I think he'll get an opportunity to prove himself even more with absence of LaMelo. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Very good player. Like what Charlotte's building. I hope they actually make the playoffs this year. It'll be fun to finally see them in there.
I kind of don't think they will. Okay. But it would be fun to see them. I think I would need to see more of offensive fortitude from Khan or Brandon Miller.
Right.
Like in terms of like ball dominance, ability to dominate the ball when needed.
Right.
But frankly, they both have that ceiling to be able to do so. Especially Brandon Miller, I think actually could become more of a ball dominant force. And I'm excited to see how that goes.
Yeah, he's a dog.
And I think they'll be really good defensively, actually.
Love the NBA, man. Never sleeps.
Yeah. Anything else from you? I think that's about all I got.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm excited. I think this offseason we'll have a lot of good historical stuff to talk about. We'll have a lot of good, like, continuing offseason moves because clearly it's not done. And we're off to a roaring start. It's not even July 4th yet, which is typically like when that new season starts, I believe, like officially or whatever. Like that's like the free agent window. So yeah, this exciting, man. Love it. Love the NBA.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I guess next that's I guess that's episode 103.
Yes, sir. Well, we'll be here as always, Spittin Hoops. Holler at y'all soon enough. Into the off season we go.
Goodbye.
Boom, boom.